What does it really take to build an institution? Beyond labs and classrooms, it is the ideas, values, and vision that help shape generations of students to come.
Today's guest spent years answering that very question, not just in theory, but also in practice. From lecture halls to offices, from research patents to breakthroughs, he's seen education evolve from inside.
He's been a researcher, a professor, a director, a deputy director, and now the founding vice chancellor of Shivnada University, Chennai, a role that is about far more than just administration.
Because when you are the founding vice chancellor, you're not just managing the institution, you're building the culture and direction the institution will hold for decades.
Our guest today, Professor S.K. Bhattacharya, is a prolific researcher, an outstanding academician, and alumni of some of the country's most prestigious institutes, and someone whose work spans across IIT Kharagpur, CSIR CBRI Roorkee, and other institutes across India and abroad.
But today, we want to talk beyond titles and timelines. Today, we want to talk about decisions, crossroads, doubts, failures, and breakthroughs.
So if you've ever wondered what an ideal education looks like,
Or what advice really matters more than grades and placements, this
episode is for you.
Good morning, sir. First of all, thank you so much for your time. My first question to you is that you worn many hats in academia over the past few years, but how would you like people to remember you?
Well, that's a very good question. I started my career in professional organization as a design engineer. Then after about 5 years, I moved to the academics. And since then, in fact, for last about 40 years, I've spent my life in the academics. Though in between, I moved to a research organization to lead the organization. And towards the end, I came over here to start the university. So, almost throughout my life, I'm a teacher. So, the bottom line is being a teacher, I like to be remembered as a teacher who wanted to do something good for the students and the society at large.
Sir, when we talk about your leadership skills, you always found yourself as a leader, or did you develop the skill during the process?
As we say, that every day is a learning process for us. So, as we go through different types of activities, different works, we learn many things. So, as a leadership role, whenever I have taken up a job, the main aspect is that you need to keep a focus.
Yes.
That, what do you like to achieve? And if you work towards that goal, then, in your path, there will be several things which will come, which you will have to very skillfully come across and then move forward. So, always you have to keep in mind that yes, we need to reach to the goal, and for that, how things can be done, can be settled, and move forward. That should be the objective always. And that's what I have learned at every step. Whenever I have taken any work, it's always I have tried to work with people, tried to listen to them, tried to learn from them, and then impose them.
It's beautiful. So you beautifully mentioned that you always want to be remembered as a teacher. So what are those teachers' characteristics that you're using in the leadership quality as you're leading a really good institute, right?
I would say that yes, I always have worked with my students. I love the students. I love to teach those students, interact with them. And more so, it's not only within the classroom. As a teacher, you keep always interacting with the students in different forms. And that's what is most rewarding. Even at this stage, when I meet my students who have graduated maybe 30, 35 years back, and whenever we meet them, whether in the country, anywhere, or even outside the country, I see so much of love of the students with the teacher, and that really makes it different. So that's something I think which helps people to know, and that gave me a lesson also to learn. Yes, if you work with people, passionately, if you feel for them, then you can get your things done.
I understand. So you have published extensively and hold numerous patents. But by nature, research also means failure. What was the most valuable failure in your research journey?
I must say that yes, while carrying out research, you come across many struggles, many obstacles. I must narrate one story to you. In fact, in my PhD days, I was working on a problem which is very interesting. Being a civil engineer, we used to work with the structures which are exposed to the different kinds of fluid flow. Even the structure which is standing and exposing to the wind. So we need to understand that how strong that structure will be. What are the aspects that you need to consider. So I was working on a problem on that. And in those days, we didn't have many codes as such. We used to write our own codes. We wrote our computer codes of our own for the solution. And I was working on a numerical technique which we thought is something different than what is existing. So some new methodology I was trying to impose. But then, initially when we started on a path, after working for a year almost, we realized that the solution scheme that we were thinking is not really leading to the aspects that we were trying to look forward to. So there was some bug which we could detect, but I had to abandon that and look forward for something else. But the interesting part is that 1 year I worked on that. That gave me a lot of insights. I understood the mechanics behind it, how the things are. So I learned a lot from that. So the lesson is that yes, while moving to your path to achieve your goal, you might come across some failures at certain point of time. But failure doesn't mean that it's totally everything is lost. It gives you some insights. You learn something from that, so that you can move forward.
So there's learning even in failure.
Yeah, so that's really useful. So in our life, in many places, so this is one incident which had happened to me, I remember. But in general, in different other activities as well, when you start doing something, as I said, that you start with the goal, but then after moving somewhat, you find that it may not be so smooth to move around and achieve that. But then you need to change your track a bit in this way, that way. So those kind of feelings do come, and that helps you.
So how can you know when a failure is one where you push yourself more, or if you should just drop it and change your path?
See, when you are doing something with certain aspects or with certain goals, if you find that to reach to that place, you are facing a lot of struggles, lot of obstacles, so that you think that you cannot resolve those immediately, and eventually it will take time. Maybe you will be able to reach to that, but then it will take unnecessarily longer path of time. Instead, if you can make some other move, and then you can reach to that place, then you can achieve that. So you can make the course change at that point of time. So it is always a kind of course correction that you need to do. Not necessarily, everything will go smooth as you planned in the beginning. So that's how things work. And yes, you will have to keep your eyes and ears open for that, because many times you'll have to realize, yes, these are the obstacles which can cause problem. You'll have to foresee them, and then accordingly you'll have to take actions to move forward.
And when was the first time you realized engineering fascinated you?
You see, my father was a civil engineer, and so with him I used to move as a kid to different places. I had seen many constructions these days. So somehow it got ingrained in my mind that yes, I need to be a civil engineer. So in fact, in those days, of course, in 70s, mid 70s, when that time civil engineering also was at a boom. So as a first preference, when we had to give choices, I said get civil engineering as my first preference. And from the environment at home itself, possibly I decided that you will get into the engineering. Yes. That was my passion to get into. Unfortunately, I could get into this, and since then I am working.
Sir, if not civil engineering, what other path?
It's very difficult to answer to these questions. Yes, I had some inclination about the medicine as well, because looking into the thing people around, and see at that point of time, possibly I could go into the medicine as well. But yes, my passion first thing was to get into the engineering part of it, and that's how I got into it.
That's amazing. If your younger self pursuing an undergrad degree in engineering walked into this university today, what would he think?
You see, in this university, first of all, this university we started as a multidisciplinary university, right? As you can see that we have other programs, we have commerce, we have. But yes, we always feel that we need to have some kind of skills, some liberal arts. These are some of the areas which are very important. Also, the aspects that bothers us to a large extent is kind of healthcare. Because today in the healthcare sector, a lot of engineering aspects are coming in, so much of technology infiltration is happening. So if we can, bring in the technology into the medicine field and then embrace each other and move forward to that, I think that would be a good thing.
Growing into this.
Yes, that's an area which is very important, which we need to explore.
So, reflecting on your growth within this institution, how would you contract your initial idea of SNU Chennai with the values it holds for you right now? How was SNU Chennai for you 5 years back? How is it now, sir?
Well, after serving IIT Kharagpur for a long period of time, when I got to know about this and I was approached to take up the job for this, setting up this new university. So I thought it was a challenge. Having served in an institution which is quite established, which has a different kinds of problems altogether. I thought that let me explore this, let me take this challenge to set up this new university. So, as a founding Vice Chancellor for a new university is always a challenge in a sense that everything you have to start from the scratch. You have to build. In fact, the very place where I am sitting today, this is the building was under construction when I came first in this campus, and in one of the corners here, I sat in a chair and table and then signed the documents. So that was the first day. But since then, we have worked for 5 years and we had to build everything, starting from the academic program, the academic curriculum, infrastructure definitely to create, and having the proper classrooms, laboratories, and then having the faculty members, the staff members to run the place. To have the students, we had to create the entrance test, which we devised on our own. So all these steps we had to take and move forward. Naturally, when you, as I said, that when you try to reach to a goal, because our goal was again to set up a university which is comparable to the best of the class in the world. To do that, naturally, you will have to move forward with certain goals in mind. And many aspects, many things were there which naturally was not so smooth, and we had to overcome those difficulties and then reach to this place. When I see that, yes, our students are completing their studies, they're graduating, that's definitely more satisfying.
Yes.
And always our thrust is to see that we keep improving ourselves and we keep asking questions always. That what is that we are doing? What is different from others? If somebody can do that, and if we are doing that, it's a routine job, right? So we need to go out of the routine job, do something else, so that our students learn those things, which will be keeping them ahead of others. And with that in mind, we always keep discussing. We always keep updating our curriculum. We try to bring in new subjects, new syllabus into it, and always we try to interact with the industry, because finally on completion of the studies in the university, the students move to the academic institutions for further studies, for higher studies, or they move to the organizations for a job, or these days also the students start their own agencies, companies as such. For that, there is a requirement, there is a requisite for it. And we like to see that our students fulfill those requirements. Many a times we hear from the industry that they need these kind of skills, but many students may not have that skill. So we didn't want to give that opportunity to the industry. We said that, look, we like to build the skill in the students, which will help the organizations to move forward. And in that sense, I feel happy that when our students are placed in different organizations, the organizations have come back and said that yes, your students are doing good. So I guess that's definitely satisfying for the institutions to hear about. If that's happening, then we also get encouragement to work further, to improve ourselves further.
So if you go into the details, what was one of the biggest challenges you faced while setting up?
Well, see, the biggest challenge I would say that in fact when I came first, that was the most toughest time in the world we had, because I came here precisely on 26th February 2021. That was when the first wave of the COVID had just gone off, and we thought that, well, we are easing out the system, but immediately after 2 months again we had the second wave hit us, and that was most terrifying time, very challenging time. We were gearing ourselves for the programs to start. We were thinking at the same time, how do we start? How do we bring the students in the campus? In the beginning, we could not have all the students in the campus, so we worked on 50% of the students came to the campus, 50% were attending classes online in a hybrid. So we had to do a lot of those exercises. Those are hurdles which we working smoothly. And in fact, the founding batch of students, they also cooperated to a large extent. The parents, I would say that last year when the first batch graduated, they have done well, they are successfully placed. Many have gone for higher studies abroad. So, despite all odds, I mean, we could get success in that, and students have done well.
So because of the challenges you face and the hard work you did, we are able to study in a really good institute. We're really happy and grateful to study in an institute. So what is SNUC Chennai's vision and mission for the future?
Well, if you look into the mission statement that we have written, we like to be positioned as one of the, this is a world-class institute which will be recognized by others. And the objective is to create the center of excellence in such a way that students learn well and they become the leaders for tomorrow in whichever field they are in. So that's our goal, that's our objective.
So if there is one change you could make in the education system, what would it be, sir?
Well, you see, today education system is truly going through a very tough phase, I must say. The reason being, as we were hearing, that the artificial intelligence, data science is one of the aspects which is infiltrating in almost every area. Right? The challenge for the academic institutions today is that in which directions we should move, to what extent our students would get exposed to this area. When a new technology comes, always it becomes difficult to embrace totally. At the same time, if you do not embrace the technology, you will be backdated. Right? So we need to understand very carefully that to what extent this is going to help to our students, or how this is going to help the academic environment, and that we are studying very carefully. While we understand that the students are to be given fundamentals in the area in which they are studying, because that will build their foundation. Moving forward, once you have a stronger foundation, moving forward, you can have a better, your professional skill acquiring. For that, you need to understand the technology. At the same time, you see, we have different kinds of systems today, which we are discussing to a large extent, is different kinds of evaluation process. Now, today, there is an explosion of information, right? Everybody is exposed to a large information. Now, should we go for the test as we do in a stereotype, 2 hours, 3 hours test, and how do you control the people not to have the gadgets that are available with them. So it means that you have all the information with you. At the same time, we need to have a proper evaluation process for the education system. So this area we are examining very carefully, that how we can bring change in this. Even in the academic process, you see this, the character of the academic institutions should be such that it is amenable to change, because we, as things are changing, as things are evolving, we need to change ourselves as well. And that's the reason, in fact, we keep saying that our curriculum must be dynamic. Every time we look at it, we need to make changes if it is needed, so that we become absolutely at the forefront of the developments that are happening. And that's how the academic institutions can improve and can move forward.
So have strong foundations, be open to change.
Yeah.
Always don't have a fixed mindset, be dynamic about changes.
Yeah, I guess that we have created a strong foundation
Yes.
for that.
Yes. So other than academics, SNU Chennai is giving a wide range of opportunities in extracurricular activities. What is your opinion about that?
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the idea about any academic education to run, is that students should be exposed to a number of things, because various students have various kinds of understanding, their interest in which area they like to. We have seen people, I'm sure that you must have seen from many institutions, those who are doing well in the area of sports, in the area of music, in the area of literature. So many students who have graduated in engineering, they have done this. So naturally, if you expose students to different kinds of activities, depending on the interest of the students, they can, the basic steps they can take in the academic institution. And then if they like that, they can pursue that as their, further studies in that, and they can improve themselves.
Yes.
In fact, yesterday in the sports meet, Robin Singh had come, right? He was saying that academic institutions are not encouraging much for the sports person. I said that's not correct. That we as an academic institution, we try to give to the extent possible the opportunities to the students, so that they are exposed to different kinds of games and sports. But eventually, on completion of the program in the academic institutions, they should get proper opportunity to move forward if they would like to fulfill their passion. And that's where I think policies will have to be created. So that our primary goal is to give you the academic program, make activities, but alongside that, we want to make our students disciplined. They should be aware of what's happening around, both socially and otherwise. And that's the reason we have these social programs, which we give as an extra academic activities in terms of NSS, NSO, IRC. So that is to make you aware that look, there are social problems which exist, and tomorrow, in fact, on completion of your studies over here, you will be taking up positions in different places. So you must be aware of the country, what is happening elsewhere. So that's the reason we encourage that students should take part in this kind of activities, and that's the reasons that you people only have created the clubs. Depending on your interest, you can take part in any of these and spend your time, so that you can groom yourself. We call it as a 360-degree exposure to you. You can become a good citizen of the country, and that's the objective of the institution.
So if you could distill your entire journey into one advice for the student body, what would it be?
The students, my advice is that yes, you must be serious about your academic activities, studies. At the same time, you take part in the activities which interests you. But at the end of it, that is very important that you be a good human being. This is absolutely important. That you should feel for others. You should behave in a way so that people respect you. You draw respect from them. That's what is important. Right? Be a good human being.
Definitely, sir. So, Thank you for reminding us that universities are not just made of policies and building, but with purpose, patience, and people.
And to everyone listening, success doesn't always begin with certainty. Sometimes it starts with curiosity and the courage to stay. And always remember, the truth is never final, it's always a journey. This was Veritas.